Hello, my name is Eduardo Garza and today I'm going to talk to you about the sexual education. But first, I'm going to explain you the both reproductive system, the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. The male reproductive system, the male sex organs work together to produce and release semen into the reproductive system of the female during sexual intercourse. The male reproductive system also reproduces sex hormones which helps a boy develop into sexual mature man during puberty. Male sex organs are located entirely within the pelvis. The male has reproductive organs, genitals, are both inside and outside the pelvis. The male genitals include the testicles, the duct system, which is made of the epididymis and the vas deferens, the accessory glands, which include the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland, and the penis. In a guy who's reached sexual maturity, the two testicles produce and store 2 million tiny sperm cells. The testicles are oval-shaped and grow to be about 2 inches in length and 1 inch in diameter. The testicles are also part of the endocrine because they produce hormones, including testosterone. Testosterone is a major part of the puberty in guys, and as a guy makes his way through puberty, his testicles produce more and more of it. Testosterone is the hormone that causes guys to develop deeper voices, bigger muscles, and body and facial hair, and it also stimulates the production of sperm. Alongside the testicles are the epididymis and the vas deferens, which make up the duct system of the male reproductive organs. The vas deferens is a muscular tube that passes upward alongside the testicles and transports the sperm containing fluid called semen. The epididymis is a set of coiled tubes that connects the vas deferens. The epididymis and the testicles hang out in a punch-like structure outside the pelvis called the scrotum. This bag of skin helps to regulate the temperature of testicles, which need to be kept cooler than body temperature to produce sperm. The scrotum changes sign to maintain the right temperature. The accessory glands include the seminal vesicles and the prostate gland. Provide fluids that lubricate the duct system and nourish the sperm. The seminal vesicles are sac-like structures attached to the vas deferens to the side of the bladder. The prostate gland, which produces some of the part of semen, surrounds the ejaculatory ducts at the base of the urethra. Just below the bladder, the urethra is the channel that carries the semen to the outside of the body through the penis. The urethra is also part of the urinary system because it is also the channel which urine passes and it leaves the bladder and exits the body. The penis is made of two parts, the shaft and the glans. The shaft is the main part of the penis and the glans is the tip. At the end of the glans is a small slit or opening, which is where semen and urine exits the body and the urethra. The inside of the penis is made of spongy tissue that can expand and contract. The female reproductive system is designed to carry out several functions. It produces the female egg cells necessary to reproduction, called ovar or oocytes. The system is designed to transport the ova to the site of fertilization. Conception and the fertilization of an egg by a sperm normally occur in the fallopian tubes. The next step for the fertilize the egg is to implant into the walls of the uterus, beginning the initial stage of the pregnancy. If fertilization and or implantation does not take place, the system is designed to menstruate, the monthly shedding of the uterine lining. In addition, the female reproductive system produces female sex hormones that maintain the reproductive cycle. The female reproductive anatomy includes parts inside and outside in the body. The function of the external female reproductive structure, the genitals, is twofold: to enable sperm to enter the body and protect the internal genital organs from infectious organisms. The main external structure of the female reproductive system include labia majora. The labia majora encloses and protects another external reproductive organs. labia minora. Literally translated as small lips. The labia minora can be very small or up to 2 inches wide. Bartholin glands. These glands are located beside the vaginal opening and produce fluid mucus secretion. Clitoris. The two labia minora meet at the clitoris, a small sensitive protrusion that is comparable to the penis in male. The internal reproductive organs in female include vagina. The vagina is the canal that joins the cervix to the outside of the body. Uterus. The uterus is hollow pear-shaped organ that is the home of the developing fetus. Ovaries. The ovaries are small oval-shaped glands that are located on either side of the uterus. And the fallopian tubes that are the narrow tubes that are attached to the upper part of the uterus and serves as tunnel for the ova egg cells to travel from the ovaries to the uterus.
Now I'm going to talk about the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is a monthly series of changes a woman's body goes through in preparation for the possibility of pregnancy. Each month, one of the ovaries releases an egg, a process called ovulation. At the same time, hormonal changes prepare the uterus for pregnancy. If ovulation takes place and the egg isn't fertilized, the lining of the uterus sheds through the vagina. This is a menstrual period. What happens during the menstrual cycle? Females of reproductive age experience cycles of activity that repeat at about 1 month intervals. With every cycle, a woman's body prepares for a potential pregnancy, whether or not that is the woman's intention. The term menstruation refers to the periodic shedding of the uterine lining. The average menstrual cycle takes about 28 days and occurs in phases: the follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and luteal phase. There are 4 major hormones involving the menstrual cycle: follicle-stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, estrogen, and progesterone. Now I'm going to talk about the cycles. Follicular phase of the menstrual cycle. This phase starts on the first day of your period. During the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle, the following events occur. 2 hormones, follicle-stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, are released from the brain and travel in the blood to the ovaries. Then the hormones stimulate the growth of about 15 to 20 eggs in the ovaries, each in its own shell called follicle. These hormones also trigger an increase in the production of the female hormone estrogen. As estrogen levels rise like a switch, it turns off the production of follicle-stimulating hormone. This careful balance of hormones allows the body to limit the number of follicles that matter. As the follicular phase progresses, one follicle in one ovary becomes dominant and continues to mature. Then I'm going to talk about the ovulatory phase. This phase is called ovulation and starts about 14 days after the follicular phase has started. The ovulatory phase is the midpoint of the menstrual cycle, with the next menstrual period starting about 2 weeks later. During this phase, the following events occur. The rise in estrogen from the dominant follicle triggers a surge in the amount of luteinizing hormone that is produced by the brain. This causes the dominant follicle to release its egg from the ovary. As the egg is released, it is captured by finger-like projections on the end of the fallopian tubes. The fimbriae sweep the egg into the tube. Also, during this phase, there is an increase in amount and thickness of mucus produced by the cervix. If a woman were to have intercourse during this time, the thick mucus captures the man's sperm, nourishes it, and keeps it to move towards the egg fertilization. Then, the last phase is the luteal phase. In this phase, the menstrual cycle begins right after the ovulation and involves the following. Once it releases its egg, the empty follicle develops into a new structure called the corpus luteum. The corpus luteum secretes the hormone progesterone. Progesterone prepares the uterus for a fertilized egg to plant. If intercourse has taken place and a man's sperm has fertilized the egg, the fertilized egg will travel through the fallopian tube and implant in the uterus. The woman is now considered pregnant. If the egg is not fertilized, it passes through the uterus, not needed to support the pregnancy. The lining of the uterus breaks down and sheds, and the next menstrual period begins. Then, how many eggs does a woman have? The vast majority of the eggs within the ovaries steadily die until they are depleted at the menopause. At birth, there are approximately 1 million to 2 million eggs. By the time of puberty, only about 300,000 remain. Of these, only about 500 will be ovulated during woman's reproductive lifetime. Any remaining eggs will die out at menopause.
Now I'm gonna explain you the contraceptive methods. There are different methods of contraception, including the long-acting reversible contraception, that it is a contraceptive that lasts for a long time. There are two types of LARC. The intrauterine device IUD that lasts for 5 to 10 years, the implant that lasts for 3 or 5 years. They are sometimes called fit and forget contraception because you don't need to remember it every day or every month. LARCs are the most effective types of contraception. They are more than 99% effective at preventing pregnancy. Hormonal contraception. These are contraceptives that use hormones to prevent pregnancy. Hormonal contraceptives include the pill and the Depo-Provera injection. There are two types of pill: combined oral contraceptive pill and progestin-only contraceptive pill. You take one pill each day. The pill is more than 99% effective at preventing pregnancy if you take it correctly. The Depo-Provera injection is another type of hormonal contraception. You get an injection every 3 months. If you get your injections on time, the Depo-Provera is more than 99% effective. Advantages and disadvantages of this. They are very effective against pregnancy if used correctly. Makes menstrual period more regular and lighter. Disadvantages. Depending on your insurance, your birth control may be free or there may be a copay. Need to remember to take every day at the same time. That's for the pill. Can be used by women with certain medical problems or by women taking medications. And need to see your healthcare provider every 3 months for an injection, etc. Barrier methods. Barrier methods to stop sperm from entering the vagina. The two barrier methods are condoms and internal condoms. Condoms protect against sexual transmittable infections, STIs, as well as unintended pregnancy. The advantages of these are provided protection against STI, new product, so not clear how much protection is given, and pregnancy. Can be inserted well before intercourse, so less interruption of sexual activity. And disadvantages are that they may be noisy, and they may be uncomfortable. Emergency contraceptions. There are two options for emergency contraception: the emergency contraceptive pill, ACP, or a copper IUD. The ECP is proved to be taken up 3 days after unprotected sex. For women on an average weight, the ACP is 98% effective. For women who weigh more than 70 kilograms, the ACP is less effective and copper IUD is recommended. The copper IUD can be inserted up to 5 days after unprotected sex and is more than 99% effective at preventing pregnancy. The advantage of these are very effective against pregnancy, doesn't need daily attention. And the disadvantages are that needs to be inserted by a healthcare provider, can fall, or can relay puncture the uterus. Fertility awareness. Fertility awareness is learning the science of fertility in your menstrual cycle to help you plan or avoid pregnancy. The advantage of these are that it is natural, approved by many religions. Woman gets to know her body and menstrual cycles. The disadvantages of this are that doesn't get protect against STI and need to figure out when ovulating for each month, since this can differ. Requires a lot of work, needed careful instructions, and the woman needs to figure out when ovulating. And for final is the permanent contraception. The permanent contraception, sometimes called Sterilization prevents all future pregnancy. It is very difficult or impossible to reverse. For males, it is the vasectomy, and for the females, it is the tubal ligation. The advantages of this is that it is very effective against pregnancy, one time the decision that will provide protection against pregnancy forever. And the disadvantages is that it needs to have a minor surgery and that it is permanent.